Welcome to Match of the Day special for goals galore from the Cannon Football League, a superb game provided by Notts County and Watford.
Owen Riley!
Tonight's football headlines: Liverpool and third division leaders Walsall win again, but both are hit by injuries to key men 3 days before their Milk Cup semi-final return. Brian Clough's Nottingham Forest continue their charge for the championship, and after 61 caps, Ray Clement says he's played his last game for England.
On with the action then, and our first visit this season to Meadow Lane, where Notts County, desperately trying to hold on to their first division place, take on Watford, who started the season disappointingly, but with a little help from north of the border, have recaptured their form with a vengeance. Your commentator, John Motson.
Mo Johnston has scored 13 goals in his last 14 games for Watford, and that's a better current striking rate than Luther Blissett achieved when he was the league's leading scorer last season. Watford, remember, sold Blissett to Milan for £1 million and bought Johnston for £200,000 from Partick Thistle. Meanwhile, Notts County have their top scorer, Trevor Christie, back in action following a head injury. He's wearing a protective plaster over 6 stitches. But Notts are still without Justin Fashanu, Martin O'Neill and Mark Goodwin, all injured. And there's a change in goal where Jim McDonough returns in place of Mick Leonard, who caught chickenpox while the squad were taking a break in Mallorca this week. Watford welcome back Les Taylor at number 4 and George Riley at number 9, both after injury, while at centre-half Steve Terry replaces Steve Sims, who starts a 2-match suspension, which also rules him out of next week's FA Cup tie against Brighton. Referee this afternoon is David Richardson of Great Harwood, one of England's FIFA referees. Watford with 7 wins and a draw in their last 9 games, playing from left to right in yellow. And Notts County, who haven't won for 8 league matches, are wearing the white shirts with the thin black stripe, playing from the right. McParland. Here's Terry. That was Tristan Benjamin, Riley, Richards. Christie. Richards again. McCulloch's made another good run, number 8. And there are 3 waiting in the centre here for County. And Harcourt! What a good start. Rashid Harcourt puts Notts County into the lead. But a very good run and cross by McCulloch, who timed it beautifully to get behind the defence. He positioned the cross perfectly for Harcourt coming in, and that's 1-0 to County. Well, so far this season, Notts County have not been trusted with a lead. They tended to weaken after starting a match well. Harcourt's goal here has given them an opportunity to turn the tide. We shall see. Good play by McCulloch. Riley, Barnes. Away from Benjamin. Past Kilcline. Benjamin recovered well. That was Terry, but it was a foul on Christie. Forward by Kilcline. Christie is coming in. Shoved by Terry. Penalty. The ball was safe, really. It was going through to Sherwood, but Steve Terry appeared to knock Trevor Christie, and a penalty, said the referee, without hesitation. And what a chance here for Notts to go 2 up. Still inside the first 10 minutes. Steve Terry gives away the penalty. And the man who he fouled, Trevor Christie, is entrusted with the responsibility. And 2-0. He made no mistake. But Terry's mistake it was that put Watford in difficulties. And Christie has scored his 17th goal of the season, tucking the penalty nicely into the corner on his return after injury. Watford led 2-0 here, and Notts County came back to win 3-2. Now it's Notts who are 2-up. What can Watford do about it? Rostron. Forward by Jacket. Barnes. Driven. The flag was up for offside. That was a good header by Terry and a good turn by Riley. Didn't quite shake off Kilcline the first time, and indeed the second time he was fouled by him. And that's Riley, and that's Jacket, and off Hunt for an own goal. Well, poor David Hunt, he really didn't know much about it. Flicked on by Riley for Kenny Jacket, McDonough doing his best, but the ball ricocheted off David Hunt, and Watford are back in it after 15 minutes. Hunt shakes his head in disbelief, but it's 2-1. Well, whenever these two teams meet, there seem to be goals. 3-2 and 5-3 were the two scores last season, and in the first quarter of an hour today we've had 3 already. Callahan looking for Taylor, and he looks for Johnston. Riley and Barnes are in the centre, and it's off Clark for the corner. Callahan will take it, and Riley's in there again. It was away by McParland for Notts. David Hunt. Good header again by Riley, on by Barnes. This is Johnston. Jacket to his left. That came McCulloch for Notts, and McParland tries to get down the right. Playing more or less as an orthodox winger early on is Ian McParland. Benjamin, who didn't quite know where he was. And that's given Watford some ground. There's Barnes, and now Jacket. There's Kilcline's clearance straight to Rostron. Past Richards, on to Riley. Rostron for the return beautifully. Oh, good stop by McDonough, had to be. And a good move too. Jim McDonough got his hand to it from Wilf Rostron. That was a lovely 1-2 that between Rostron, who made the initial run, and Riley. Rostron continuing, cross shot, and McDonough got a hand to it. By Christie. That was Barnes. And it was Hunt. Jacket, whose foot was high, the referee said no. Barnes. And Callahan's coming in. As he did so, he was injured in a collision, I think, with the goalkeeper, although there's a defender in there as well. And Nigel Callahan is down. Came in with Clark, actually. And while he's still prostrate in the goal mouth, Notts County are on the attack at the other end with Chidozie. But the referee decides there's an offside anyway, which gives him a chance, perhaps, to have his attention brought to Nigel Callahan. Well, John Barnes got a fierce cross in there, and Nigel Callahan coming in trying to finish it. Well, Nigel Callaghan's 2 goals have taken his total for the season to 10, and he's now looking for his first ever hat-trick for Watford. Well, Notts County have now let in 26 goals at home in the league this season. That's the highest goals against total in the First Division. Home matches, and once again they've been guilty of spurning a lead. But can they turn the match around in the second half, as Watford did in the first? Here's Riley. Little back heel, and Callaghan seizing a chance to shoot again. Johnston, and Barnes is there. Against the bar, Riley. Oh, bad luck on the keeper, but it's a goal for George Riley. 4-2 to Watford in the first minute of the second half. Barnes came in with the header, it crashed against the bar, and although McDonough did manfully to block Riley at first, the shot went in to compound Notts County's misery even more. And if the crowd are barracking Jim McDonough, I can hardly see why. He may have let in 4 goals, but I honestly think it would be harsh to blame him when he's made 2 saves, quite apart from that, to keep the score down. Christie getting up with Terry, and the ball bouncing conveniently for him. Here's Richards. McParland takes on Franklin. McCulloch near post. Christie! That's a well-taken goal, and very well made too. McParland got the cross in. McCulloch did the hard work at the near post area, and Christie applied the finishing touch. It's his second of the match, his 18th of the season, and after 53 minutes, it brings the score back to Notts County 3, Watford 4. Relax for even a minute or two in this game. That's a long ball seeking out McCulloch, and Franklin having to hurry. Anything can happen now. That's put the life back into the match as far as County are concerned from Trevor Christie. This is Taylor. And there's a gap there because Clark was caught upfield. It's Callaghan looking for Riley, just overhit it slightly, and the goalkeeper was checked when he came to collect that, was he? Or did he have his foot high? It's an indirect free kick to Watford against Jim McDonough, and it's got the Notts County nerves on edge again. They've only just got back into the match, and here they are pulling all their players back to defend on their own 6-yard line. Barnes can sometimes curl these. Callaghan will look perhaps for a strike. Jacket did! Oh! A thunderous shot, but over the bar. I think Jim McDonough was penalised there for coming out with his foot up, which seemed possibly a little harsh, because lots of goalkeepers do that week in, week out, and nothing's ever said. This is Johnston. Taylor. Callaghan. Oh, and Riley! Good effort. Service coming from Nigel Callaghan. Excellent cross, and well judged too on the volley by big George Riley, who's shown this afternoon, for those who didn't realise, that he's not just a good player when the ball's in the air. Free kick to Notts County, who are still very much alive. The game has still got 25 minutes to run. They're only 1 behind, remember. Klein takes the kick. McCulloch jumping. Benjamin. Christie. McParland. Oh, he's away from Rostron. And it needed Franklin to come across. Not an awfully good piece of defending that by Watford, I must say. But Notts County see the chance again to push players up. Here's Chidoza. Pedro Richards is forward, so is Christie there. Terry volleyed it half clear. Kilcline hooked it back. And now Riley with Johnston out right. Callahan. Barnes has begun to run through the centre. Riley is in space. That's his cross, and John Barnes is there. Oh, and he just hung on McDonough. Barnes deliberately waiting to let that one come down before he struck for goal, and Jim McDonough smothered it and then grabbed it. George Riley again very much involved in Watford's build-up, making use of space allowed him by the defence. Christie on for Chidozie, largely there. Header was by Hunt. Now Rostron. It's tucked in for Jacket again. And Kilcline saw the danger. Poor clearance though. Rostron back in. Riley's there. Waiting for Barnes to take over. John Barnes blocked by Harkook. Riley now. It's a good ball too. Taylor. Barnes, Les Taylor. Oh, that's a brilliant break by Les Taylor. Really is. And the chip across could find Johnston. What a fine goal to make it 5. And what a tribute to the football of Les Taylor, so often the unsung Watford player. That was a smashing piece of play, from midfield it should be said. To break like that on the edge of the area, go round the defender, cut out the goalkeeper, get a cross back from there, and Mo Johnston said thank you very much, and that's 5-3 to Watford. Johnston's 14th goal in his last 15 games, and 83 minutes gone. Well, the 5th goal had been in the offing for some little time. And it's curious that the score now is the one by which Watford beat County at Vicarage Road last season, 5-3. That's moment that has increased Mo Johnston's goal output. Chidozie. Richards has gone forward. Chidozie. Harkook's in there. Jacket finds Callahan, who starts a run and looks for... What a lovely ball. Superb. George Riley. Johnston just inside him. Riley goes past Kilcline. 3 in the middle for Watford. Benjamin's header, only half away. Callahan. Can Callahan complete his hat-trick? He's going through and couldn't finish. Well, the centre of the Notts County defence again laid wide open there. Nigel Callahan in the end getting underneath the final effort. Graham Taylor will feel that these 3 points have ended any speculation about Watford going down, but Notts County are in a heap of trouble. Watford win 5-3. Graham Taylor's side have 8 wins in 10 games. They're well up the table now and safe. But for Notts County, problems in the middle of the field where Les Taylor was quite outstanding for Watford. What a match he had, bearing in mind he's been injured recently. And the visiting supporters can celebrate an eventful game which has left the home side in terrible difficulties in the First Division table. A final score at Meadow Lane of Notts County 3, Christie 2 and Harkook, Watford 5, Callahan 2, Riley, Johnston and a Hunt own goal.
And if it weren't for Notts County's precarious league position, they might almost have enjoyed their part in that feast of goal scoring. Certainly a team that scores 3 goals at home would expect to earn a point at least, but if the home supporters were disappointed at that, perhaps they might find some consolation in that their team played their part with Watford in providing the rest of the nation with a thrilling game to enjoy.